Does competition have something to do with regulation, or does it just relate to firms' behavior? In this video, we will discuss some of the aspects of the relationship between competition and regulation. Regulations play a crucial role in facilitating thriving societies. However, they can sometimes have the unintended effect of unduly restricting competition, preventing citizens from accessing better or more convenient products and services. Existing rules or provisions, created considering past social needs or new proposals if they don't properly consider their potential side effects, can create or maintain restrictions to competition that harm society and limit consumer choice. Ensuring that competition in markets works properly is vital, as competition is a key driver for economic growth. It encourages business to innovate, reduce prices, and ensures that consumers have access to a diverse range of products and services. In essence, competition improves quality of life for everyone. Based on economic analysis, data, and past experiences, competition agencies can provide technical advice to regulators and help them avoid unintended side effects of legislation. This process is known as competition assessment. It is a systematic process that evaluates if laws and regulations restrict market competition and under what circumstances those restrictions are necessary and proportionate to protect public policy objectives of general interest or to address a market failure. The OECD created the Competition Assessment Toolkit that helps governments in conducting this analysis. It is structured and different steps.
Now let's go through the key steps in the competition assessment process. First step, we identify the policies to assess. The first question is what policies, regulations, or laws deserve scrutiny by a government or a competition agency. Then step 2 is to apply the competition assessment checklist. The toolkit contains a checklist. This is a list of detailed questions and they serve to screen regulations. There are different criteria to make this analysis. So there are groups of questions, starting with, does the regulation limit the number of suppliers? Does the regulation restrict market entry or exit? Does it reduce the incentive for suppliers to compete? If a regulation raises concerns, a deeper investigation should be conducted to assess if the restrictions are necessary and if potential competition harms are proportional to the goals that the regulation intends to achieve. Then we move to step 3, which is to identify alternative options. The toolkit helps to identify alternative options to replace restrictive provisions, because the goal is to determine if the same policy objective can be achieved in another way by minimizing competition harm. For example, instead of granting exclusive rights to a supplier, the government might explore open bidding procedures for that right to produce or supply. And we move to step 4, which is to select the best option. The toolkit has tips to choose the best option among possible alternatives, and this involves balancing regulatory goals and their competitive impact. This requires careful judgment and a comparison of benefits and costs of each option. In step 5, we implement the best option, which is the least restrictive of competition. Implementation is covered by the toolkit, which means drafting the necessary legal framework and working with the relevant authorities to ensure proper application. Finally, we have step 6, which is about evaluating implementation. Ex post analysis of rules is also addressed in the toolkit. in order to ensure that the rules in force are reaching the required goals and they are not causing unintended competitive harm.
Now let's take a closer look at a real-world example to understand how competition assessment toolkit works in practice. In 2023, the OECD conducted a competition assessment of Tunisia's tourism sector. The sector was chosen as it is a key part of Tunisia's economy and has been an important source of job creation and domestic value added for years. Using the toolkit, over 447 regulatory barriers were identified, which included heavy and burdensome licensing requirements, undue influence of incumbents in decision-making bodies, and excessive operational requirements that limited competition. The OECD recommended to improve regulatory quality, streamline investment, licensing, and compliance inspections procedures, and lift restrictions on foreign investment to open up the market to more participants. The OECD's recommended reform have the potential to create benefits for Tunisia's consumers and economy worth about 1.2% of Tunisia's GDP annually, through increased market competition and lower consumer prices. This example demonstrates how competition assessments can directly improve economic performance and benefit both businesses and consumers.
By identifying and removing unnecessary restrictions, governments can foster a more competitive environment and more dynamic economies. By using the competition assessment toolkit, competition agencies can help government in the challenging and exciting goal of offering our societies better policies for better lives.